Hello，你好，Welcome back，欢迎回来to Wisdom Wednesday with Johnny Tiger on June 16th, 2021. We are continuing this trend of showing you a view of the backyard on Wisdom Wednesday because last week when I first started doing this, no one complained. No one actually said anything. So whether you guys just don't really care one way or another, or you really like not having to stare at me for the entire episode. So anyway, we are going to keep this up. And if anyone have any comments or you prefer the old way, you can always let me know, and we can always change things up occasionally, going back and forth. But hey, it is good. So for you to don't have to look at me because this way I don't have to get dressed. No, I'm just kidding. I am dressed, but uh, I don't have to sit still at the table for the entire episode. Sitting still has always been kind of a problem for me. Maybe I'm a little bit too hyper, too ADD, or whatever. But ever since I was a child, sitting still got to be one of the toughest things for me to do. And it's even when I'm watching a movie or watching TV, I can't sit down and just sit there and watch an entire episode of even my favorite TV shows. I have to be watching it, and my hands have to be doing something. I have to be walking around and getting drinks, getting food, and eating. Or I just can't sit still and pay attention to a book or a TV series like that, which really drove my father crazy when I still lived at home. And he always said, Johnny, can't you sit still? I'm like, it's difficult. It's hard. I get bored. I get bored. I lose track of what I'm supposed to be paying attention to. Now today, we are going to talk about one of Chinese people's most traditional food. If you go to a authentic Chinese place, or if you find it on Uber Eats, uh, for local people, I have a highly recommended place I will recommend to if you're from BC or if you're from Vancouver area. Look up Lou Charcoal Grill or Uncle Lou's Skewers. That they got two different names, but they're actually under the same banner. So Lou Charcoal Grill or Uncle Lou's Skewers. You can find them on Uber Eats, or you can just go there. They are really good, especially their breakfast items are very, very authentic, very traditional. I ordered from them quite a few times and enjoy the heck out of myself every single time, because the food I get there really bring back my childhood. Growing up in Taiwan, and I imagine it's the same growing up in China, uh, for the most part, our breakfast food consists of five variations. I mean, yeah, of course, after uh, Western food came into Taiwan, so you can go to McDonald's and get a McMuffin or stuff like that. But if we want to talk about the most traditional Taiwanese Chinese style of breakfast, then it consists of five variations. One is congee. What is congee? I'm sure some of you have seen it before on menus and you're just wondering what that is. Congee is porridge. It's like your cream of wheat or it's like your oatmeal, but congee is made out of rice. It's a rice porridge. There's two ways of cooking congee. One is you just cook it, water, rice, and that's it. So it's just like cooking rice. You just add a lot more water to turn it into a porridge. And then you eat it with some side dishes, like some pickled vegetables and dried cured meat and uh, 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 hard-boiled eggs and stuff like that on the side. Alright, that's the way I grew up to eat congee. That's the way how most Taiwanese people grew up to eat congee. Another way, this is more Cantonese, is to add a whole lot of other ingredients in their congee. So you can make seafood congee where you make a seafood broth and you add rice and then green onion and ginger and fish and shrimp. Or you can make a beef congee where you use a beef broth and you make the rice porridge with a beef broth, and then you add ground beef and green onion and ginger. Or you can make chicken congee using chicken broth and diced chicken. There's a whole lot of different things you can do to it. Anything you can do with the fried rice, you can do it with congee. Okay, you can just be creative and add mushrooms and bamboo shoots and corn and all kind of stuff to make congee. So that's how Cantonese people enjoy their congee, as they uh, add the ingredient into the rice porridge itself, as uh, opposed to in Taiwan, we eat it plain and have the side dishes on the side. So congee is number one type of Chinese breakfast that we grow up uh, being used to. Number two is what people call Chinese pancake, which is a very deceiving name because when you think of pancake, you're thinking of sweet, something sweet with maybe blueberries and syrup. Well, Chinese pancake is not like that. Chinese pancake is more like a flat bread. It's a flat bread, sort of like naan bread or pita bread, and it's sprinkled with sesame seeds, and it's usually salty rather than sweet. And it usually about the size of a dinner plate. And when you get a Chinese pancake, you also want to order some meat, like beef, a skewer of beef, or some sausages, or some chicken. Fried chicken is really good. And what you do is you put some soy sauce on the meat, and you wrap the meat up in the Chinese pancake with some green onion or other like bean sprout and stuff like that to turn the whole thing into like a giant burrito, and then you eat it that way. So that is Chinese pancake. That's the second kind of food that I grew up with. Third is a Chinese donut. What is a Chinese donut? Again, it's an extremely deceiving name because most people, when they see Chinese donut on a Chinese restaurant menu, they think, okay, so is that like is that donut like sprinkled with sugar and maybe filled with cream or jam? No, no. Chinese donut, again, it's totally not what you're thinking about. Chinese donuts actually look uh, a little bit more like long long john. The shape are like the long john donut. They're long and skinny, and they are deep fried. So when you get a Chinese donut, it's basically what they do is they make these breadstick. They look like long, super long breadstick twisted together, and then they deep fry them so they're nice and crispy on the outside and still soft on the inside. And again, they are savory or salty rather than sweet. Although some people, I have seen some people dust them with brown sugar and eat them like that. So that is one option you can do. Uh, Now, one way to really enjoy your Chinese donut is to order one Chinese pancake and one Chinese donut, and then you roll the Chinese donut up inside your Chinese pancake and eat it like that. And the Chinese pancake being a flatbread, it will be soft and a little bit chewy on the outside, and then you get that crunchiness and a little bit of greasiness from the Chinese donut on the inside, and just a completely different texture when you're eating that. It's really good. Another way of eating Chinese donut is to dip it in your soy milk. This sounds really weird, but those of you who enjoy Oreo cookie dipped in milk, you can probably relate to that. So a lot of time in Taiwan, we will order a big bowl of warm or hot soy milk, and then we would take Chinese donut and dip in it to soften it up a little bit, and then we eat it, and then while we enjoy our soy milk. Soy milk is sweet, and Chinese donut is salty, and it makes an interesting kind of combination. Number four, kind of Chinese food, and we enjoy that a lot. Even today, I buy it all the time. I even tried to make it at home before, but it's simply way too much work. Uh, since I live on my own, it's way too much work to just make it for myself. Uh, it's pot stickers. Pot stickers. Now, I know that a lot of you that been to Japanese restaurant think that that's a Japanese food, but no, pot sticker is a purely originating from China, Chinese food, and pot sticker is, by the way, it's the same thing as sui jiao, or dumpling. The only time when they are actually called pot sticker is when they're fried in a frying pan. Otherwise, they are called shui jiao, to pronounce it properly, or AKA dumpling or soup dumpling. These are the little dumplings filled with meat and vegetables. They look vaguely like goldfish. They kind of look like they're little tiny goldfish, and you can get them in Japanese restaurant. There, they're called gyozas, and a lot of people really like them. Uh, when I was growing up, that was one of my favorite breakfast food. My a lot of mornings, I was perfectly fine just getting a plate of pot stickers and a bowl of soy milk. That would set me up for that breakfast. And like I said, even today, because it reminds me so much of my childhood time, uh, and just bring back some nice memories before my childhood totally got derailed. So I do eat pot sticker quite often, uh, and I believe I even talked about how to cook pot stickers before on the Johnny Tiger Experience podcast. By the way, if you like these daily videos, please do support the podcast by going to the Johnny Tiger Experience podcast and check out the podcast there. There we get these little wisdom tidbits and soul searching reflections and fitness tips, martial art tips, and we also get some DIY tips and cooking tips and exclusive interviews with blind and visually impaired martial artists from all over the world. Things that we don't get on these daily videos. So there's a lot there. So please check out the podcast and subscribe there. If you like my video here, I guarantee you will love the podcast. So that's pot sticker. Number five, last but not least, is Chinese bun. Now, a lot of time when we see it on Chinese menus here in North America, you'll see Chinese bun, and then you'll see stuffed Chinese bun. And some people may get all confused. They'll say, okay, like, what's the difference? Like, what are they stuffed with, and how are they different? In Mandarin, the stuffed Chinese buns are called baozi. Baozi, Bowje, baozi means to wrap up, to contain. Baozi means they hold something inside. Okay, and they do look a little bit different. Baozi are usually very round, and they uh they have a lot of wrinkles and folds on top. Uh, so they look like a round bun with a slightly dome-shaped top with a lot of wrinkles and folds, like someone pinched the heck out of them, because they do. How you make baozi is uh, you make the dough, you roll out the dough, and then you put the meat and vegetable in the center, and then you uh, fold the dough around it and form that round shape. And then to close the top, you just take your thumb and forefinger and just pinch it together. Pinch the heck out of it. And that's why baozi end up looking a little bit like giant wonton at the top. The Chinese bun that is not stuffed with anything are called mantou. Mantou, Muntoe, mantou, and they are usually square. They look like cinnamon bun, just without the sweet and cinnamon. They taste a lot like just your generic dinner roll or dinner bread, but they are square, like in the shape of cinnamon roll, cinnamon bun. Uh, Now, once upon a time, baozi and mantou were interchangeable. Mantou could be stuffed, baozi could be without stuffing. It wasn't until about 100 years ago that people started making a fine distinction and be so specific about these two different type of Chinese bun. Uh, Now, when I was growing up, we were, of course, a lot of us had to go into the military when we became of age, and it was mandatory. Uh, and a lot of people used to say that when you're in the military, they serve you nothing but mantou and water. So you get Chinese bun and water and nothing else. Of course, as I got a little bit older, I realized that that was an exaggeration. Yes, they do give you a lot of time. That's all you got, but it's not the only thing you get because, of course, in the military they have to worry about your nutrition needs and they have to give you meat and vegetables. But uh, they to save money on food, they do give you a lot of mantou because, as we know, dinner bun, dinner roll, bread in general, their main purpose is to fill you up. If you just eat meat and vegetables, if you just eat your meat and vegetables, you can probably eat a big plate of it and still not getting full. But if I give you two mantou, two Chinese bun, and tell you to eat it, and then here's a big glass of water, drink it down, I guarantee that within 5 minutes you're going to be so full because the water is going to make that Chinese bun swell up in your stomach and you are not going to eat a lot of meat and vegetables, so it does save money for the military. For jail houses as well, it was said that prisoners in jail also got served water and mantou a lot. Next episode, next Wisdom Wednesday, we are going to come back and I'm going to give you a more detailed account of the origin and history of this food called mantou. But today, I just wanted to give you guys a quick introduction on the kind of breakfast food I grew up to like and still will get whenever I get a chance to nowadays. And if you ever get a chance to check out a Chinese restaurant that serves Chinese breakfast, uh, you know, be a little bit adventurous. Try some pot sticker, try some soy milk, try some kanji, try some Chinese donut, Chinese pancake, and I think you will find yourself pleasantly surprised. Thank you for checking out today's Wisdom Wednesday. We'll be back again tomorrow for Toy Thursday. For now, have a good evening and 再见.